of kind of where we came from and where we are now. So Flirt Fitness started in a very tiny studio in East Grand Rapids, right next to Wolfgang's. It was very bright, and the bathroom was inside the room, which a lot of the times didn't work, but it's like if you had to go to the bathroom, people would hear you while we were trying to do body rolls. So it's really interesting. So we started in this little tiny space, and we shared it with the boot camp people. So they would run their boot camp class, and then I'd have to put up all the poles, and kind of like they were temporary poles. I'd kick them to make sure that they were straight, and then I'd light all the candles, and I used to put this curtain up at the side door, so if you were late for class, the curtain would fall on your head, because there was no way to lock the door, and sometimes people that were soliciting would come in the front door, and we were doing our level 1 routine, and it was ridiculous. But we made it work, and I had 2 instructors that worked for me at that location, Cassie and Jess. Will you guys come up here? Cassie was our first instructor, and the conversations between the 3 of us were literally like them 2 coming up to me going, I am just really interested in instructing. I was like, awesome, can you start tomorrow? Because I have 2 classes that are running that I really need help with. And that is literally how they were like birthed into Flirt Fitness. So honestly, you guys, and I say this all the time, but I really mean it. If I did not have these 2 at the beginning, like we would not be alive. No ifs, ands, or buts. I would not have made it on my own if they didn't have prior teaching experience and if they just weren't the actual women that they are. Flirt Fitness would not exist as it does today. They are like my fearless leaders of being in the studio, 2 of so many that we have, but 2 of my greatest, my all-time greatest that I have, and I love you guys so much. Thank you. That were there. We had check-ins when you came in, and I had a little tiny planner that everything was written in pen. I highlighted people in pink if they showed up, and I highlighted them in yellow if they didn't show up. I highlighted them in green if they owed me money, and then I highlighted them in blue if they were paid in full. So I have no idea who like paid for classes really back then and who didn't. So if you got a free class, awesome, back then. Can't do it anymore because we have an amazing system and amazing front desk staff that checks all of that now. So if you were a student at the very first location, can you come up here if you're still with us today? Yeah, awesome. So from that little tiny location, we had to move. And I started looking for space with my realtor, and found this amazing space where our Grand Rapids studio is today, and we opened, and I was literally selling a dream with the people standing behind me. People were walking in, we didn't have any carpet. Daniel actually tore up our carpet, and it was like, well, take your shoes off here, we promise the rooms are really sexy. And they would walk in, we didn't have any mirrors, and then the mirrors got there and they were leaning against the wall, so we had signs up that said, please be careful, these might fall and shatter on you. Like huge liability stuff that was happening. And then 4 months later, we had to open Studio C, which is where some of you have been for some of our old showcases. And it was a big room, it was really amazing. So if you were kind of around during that time as a student, can you come up here on this stage, please? From that time, we hired more instructors, and gained more students and more students. So fast forward a little bit, if that's you, come up here. So after we expanded into Studio C, I laughed and said, okay, you guys, don't make me open a second studio. Haha, that would be really funny. And fast forward a year after that, I met my husband. 6 weeks later, we got married. And so babe, can you come up here? Because you're in here now. And during that summer, remember this conversation. I was laying on his lap on the couch, and I looked up at him and I said, you know, I'm kind of like thinking I want another studio. I never really thought that's what I wanted, but like, what do you think about that? And through conversation after conversation, we talked about it, and he has a business background, so I was like, you know, if we do this, I'm gonna really need your help because that's not my background. And in January of 2015, we opened Flirt Fitness Byron Center, or what we call Flirt Fitness PC. So if you came out of that studio as an instructor or anything like that, or a student, will you come up here? So along during that that time of us opening up Byron Center, of us growing in Grand Rapids, we needed front desk staff. And boy, did we need front desk staff. We needed people to check in our students. We needed people to take payments. We needed people to check accounts and to sell merchandise and do all that different stuff. So if you are a member of our front desk staff, if you're not yet up here, please come up here. Me, go down here? Oh, some people go down here? Okay, don't break the stage. Should we come down here? Okay. So we have a front desk staff. We have a front desk, raise your hand if you're a front desk staff, of about, how many do we have? 20. So from that and having 2 studios, we needed studio managers. So one day I was talking to Sue and I was like, you're so amazing, you should be a studio manager, I love you, do it. And then I was like, can you start tomorrow? So there was born amazing Sue that none of us could live without in Grand Rapids. None of us could live without her there. She is amazing. And Jessie is our studio manager in Byron Center. She's not here tonight, but bless her heart for being with us and doing everything that these 2 do, because they're my go-tos for all of that stuff, and I wouldn't be able to even have a life without them. So I'm so thankful for them. So fast forward, kind of like where we are in Byron Center, and we were growing last year. And you know, the funny thing is when I started the studio, I had this little tiny sticky note of kind of like this phrase that I always wrote down, and it was God's will. And every time I got frustrated, or every time I was overwhelmed because I was working so much, I just would always say to myself, God's will, God's will, God's will. If this is gonna grow, it's God's will that it's gonna grow. If it's not, and I'm gonna flop this whole thing, then it's God's will that this wasn't meant to happen. And everything kept growing, and everything kept growing, and everything kept growing. And last year was our first full year being in Byron Center. So last year, so in 2016, during the summer, I started changing my saying. And I started thinking about some different dreams, and I was sharing them with Aaron, and we started having different conversations. And then I was in the Grand Rapids studio. Oh, P.S., if you are a student and you're not up here, come up here. Or if you work for us in any way, yeah, get up here. Here's everybody. Yeah, stay down here so we don't break the stage. So last year, summertime, I started changing my saying, and ironically enough, this year, a few months ago, we have suggestion boxes at each studio. And I take those really seriously. I really appreciate feedback that we get from students or people that are in there one time or anybody that ever steps foot in the studio. And on one of those sheets said, well, sometimes they're like, Bev is amazing, pay her $1 million. Literally, it said that one time.
I said that, thank you.
And then there was another one that said, oh, you should open over here, and then you should open in Muskegon, because all of us would go, there's 9 of us. And so I get all these different requests, and I take them really seriously, and I appreciate people giving us feedback. So last year, my phrase changed. And I was talking to Aaron about my phrase, and we started grouping together, started doing some stuff. My little tiny phrase was, going for 3, 2017. So I am proud to stand up here, only with the help of my husband. Come over here and stand up. With all of these people up here, you guys, it's not just me, it's not just us, it's everybody that exists up here. We are so proud and honored to tell you that we are opening Flirt Fitness number 3 in Norton Shores, Michigan. So we are under construction already. Everything is already in the works. We're under construction, and we will be open September of this year for Flirt Fitness. So thank you guys to everybody that's standing up here. Thank you guys for loving this dream that I had so long ago that I never even thought this would be happening. Thanks for always believing in everybody, the woman that's sitting next to you. Thank you out there, all of you, for loving all of us, for being so crazy and loving pole. And I know we're crazy, we know it. But just for being supportive for our dream and what we love so much, because we wouldn't be able to be up here without all of you out there.
She's done. So, on top of that amazing announcement, I have to add to this. Actually, we have to add to this. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to look around. Look to the person to the left, look into the person to the right. I want you to see, if you haven't, what happens when you take a small dream and you sacrifice and you give. Now, I'm not talking about just showing up. I'm talking about every single ounce of your being, your blood, your sweat, your tears. There is one woman who is our foundation. There is one woman who holds these walls together. There's one woman who inspires us all to do better, try harder, and pushes us to shine brighter and bolder than we already do. Okay, I got this. Amy, there's nothing myself or any of these women can say or do to truly show and share our love and appreciation with you. To many of us, you are our leader, our friend, our mentor, our teacher, and most of us family. Thank you for giving yourself to this dream. Thank you for sacrificing. Thank you for creating something that makes us get through our week, have a place to cry, to laugh, to shed, to share, to inspire, to conquer, to get by. Because many of us don't know where we would be if it wasn't for what you have done for all of us. Thank you, Amy, from all of us on stage, to all of us sitting, to backstage. Just have to say we love you with all of our hearts. Thank you. And we have a little gift, a box, it's actually a gift box that we're going to present Amy after the show. So all the instructors got together and threw some personal stuff in there to give her some love. So yeah, you can give it to Amy now, why not? Sure, give her our special box of love. And that's from the instructors, the box. So.